What's the most boring sport to watch? Little League T-ball when your kid isn't up? You think T-ball is bad? Wait until your first year of kid pitch. An entire game of strikeouts and walks. Microsoft Excel World Championship. Not a joke. This shit is real. Guy nearly died. I fast forwarded to halfway and it cut directly onto the section where the commentator says, completely dead, serious, and it looks like Matthew has started a new sheet, whereas Brittany has stayed on the same workbook. I can't stop laughing. The competitors have a positive outlook. Rowing. I have been rowing competitively for years, and I understand the nuances, yet it's still the dullest thing in the world. Most entertaining thing is when somebody accidentally ends up in the wrong lane. I feel so bad for them, but yeah. Pro fencing is actually not very entertaining. They're so fast that you have no idea what happened. So, it's a couple of people with swords bouncing back and forth for about 30 seconds. Something happens, and then it's over. As a fencer, I can confirm. Even if you're very familiar with the sport, it is very fast-paced, and the calls can be difficult to see or even understand once points are awarded. There should be a 5v5 capture the flag fencing, with maze and a taser on the top of the sword. Ultimate fencing. Bouncing back and forth for about 30 seconds, something happens, and then it's over. Title of your sex tape? Olympic fencing should be a battle royal of all the participants, on the deck of an old-fashioned sailing ship in the harbor. Golf is great background TV to sleep to. I had to scroll way farther than I thought I would to find golf. I actually like watching golf, but I'm not disagreeing with you. It's good background noise. Surfing. Hours of contestants just bobbing around the ocean and commentators trying their best to fill the gaps in action. I still watch almost every major contest, though. Lifelong surfer and was competitive in my younger days, and yeah. The waiting for waves is super boring as a contest spectator, but when a set comes, it's on. I don't watch many contests, but when I do, I am usually working, so I'll have it running in the background and only switch over when I hear the announcers get excited about something coming up the back. I once had a doctor ask me what I do for exercise, and when I told him I surf, he told me all I do is sit in the water, and that isn't exercise. I told him to paddle out with me sometime, lol. My runner friend, who runs 12 miles a day without blinking, was gassed after 15-20 minutes in the water. I'm justifying, but yay, it's boring. Highlights is where it's at. Edit. Clarification. Fishing. When people start putting lead weights in the fish, it's fucking go time. I love Brian Regan's bit about how boring watching fishing is. In the credits, it shows that there's an editor. Just imagine having to sit through all of the film footage to put together what will be aired. A sport I thought would be boring, but I love to watch drunk. Curling. Gets me more hyped than anything. I'll be sitting there yelling, brush the fuck out of that ice! Curling, the Winter Olympic sport you watch as a joke only to find out it's the most interesting sport at the Winter Olympics. I don't even have to be drunk. It's cool they're like dads from some cold place that get to go to the Olympics. Can't ever get bored from curling. I just gave it a go recently too, and have an even greater appreciation for the sport. It's too entertaining. Sports when you don't play the game they play. As an Overwatch and OWL fan, even I can see how no one new to the game understands what's happening. I find that FB's games are really easy to follow, even if you have no idea about the game. Like before I knew anything about CSGO, I could still watch ESGO, I could still watch CSGO Esports, since all I really needed to enjoy was the killing aspect of the game. Try Rocket League, it's just soccer, but with cars and really fast-paced. A boxing or memo fight with two defensive fighters. Nothing more boring than watching two people just circle one another and actively avoid doing the one thing that everyone is paying to see them do. If you wait on the river long enough, the corpse of your enemies will float by. Sun Tzu. Thinking about Namajunas versus Sperza 2 makes me cringe immediately. An actual fight where me and everyone said we just lost 25 min of our lives that we're never getting back. Sad thing is, Esparza is more defensive, Namajunas isn't. She just got the most shitty and atrocious advice from Pat Berry, her trainer and fiancé, making her unwilling to do anything during a motherfucking championship fight. She could a very skilled fighter in Wei Li Zhang with a head kick in the defense prior to this fight and threw 0 head kicks when facing Esparza. Absolutely pathetic. Any sport you don't understand in detail. Volleyball is just watching people jump around keeping a ball in the air. You don't really need to know the details to enjoy watching it. As a cyclist, cycling, it's really cool to learn the technical parts and strategy of the sport, but I get bored watching people pedal for hours only for the real action to start a few miles away from the finish line. Watching them kill themselves climbing a tough hill can be pretty entertaining. As a huge Formula One fan, depending on where the race is, it's even more boring than NASCAR. Until it rains, then you got to make popcorn. Monaco is basically looking at scenery with commentary for 2 hours. It's worse because a few of the races are extremely good, and the rest are either mid to I really woke up at 5 to watch this back. What? You don't appreciate 15 hours with 50 laps of Verstappen in first with no overtakes anywhere on the grid? Jokes aside, I know what you mean. What was the most boring race of the past season? France? Mexico? Something I can't remember? Sort by controversial if you want to see soccer football. Sailing. Me in this thread looking to pick a fight with anyone who answers ice hockey. There's plenty of people who don't like hockey for a lot of reasons, but being boring isn't one of them. NASCAR should get back to its roots. Each driver carries a shipment of moonshine while being chased by the state police. Cricket is the only game you can play for 5 days, only for it to end up in a draw. With the current batting and bowling standards, the pitch has to be an absolute road for this to happen. The Test Championship and baseball have sort of reignited the desire for the teams to go for win. Imagine having sex for 5 days straight, and then in the end, no one comes. That's what watching Test cricket feels like. Sex and cricket are on the opposite ends of the interesting spectrum, regardless of how it ends. They're probably not the most boring, but the endless commercials and timeouts make American sports unbearable to watch. I love American football. However, the constant commercial breaks get so annoying. They'll score, then a commercial break, then come back for one play to kick off to the opposing team, then go back to commercial already. I am an avid fan of, in order, tennis, NBA, Formula One, NFL, Ankara football, Melb Premier, Champions League football, and I still can't watch golf, no matter how hard I try. Any sport during the Olympics because of the horrible coverage and constant commercials. I've never seen an advert during Olympic coverage. In the UK, it's always on the BP and completely advert-free. This is a very American complaint. National Grass Growing Championship. Golf. I thought watching golf was bad until I had a long drive with my old boss during the US Open. Turns out golf on the radio is worse. Golf and NASCAR are perfect background noise for a couch neighbor. Totally get why people don't like, but I love watching golf. Honestly, one of my favorites to watch. I am a golfer, so that probably helps. Tour of France is the favorite moment to take a nap in Spain. So cycling. I think golf is the most agreed upon answer. I also find snooker quite boring though, but maybe that's just me. American football. 1 hour of solid entertainment baked into 8 hours. Whopper, 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 whopper. Whopper, 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 whopper junior, double, 2, triple, 3, whopper. Impossible or bacon whopper, I rule this day. At BK, have it your way, you rule. Baseball. Baseball is perfect for radio while working in the yard. I still love watching baseball, but there really is nothing better than baseball on the radio. It's honestly a perfect sport to just listen to, especially when, as you said, working out in the yard or sitting on a patio. Yeah, I think it's by far the most interesting sport to watch because of all the strategy involved. It's more like a turn-based strategy game than a sport. I've heard it described as an individual sport disguised as a team sport. I can understand, but you grow to appreciate the pace of baseball and actually will find it's more unpredictable than a lot of other sports.